Hi, my friends. Welcome to Inside the Minds of Authors. I'm DC Gomez, your host, and also an indie author. I'm thrilled you're joining me today for another fun interview with a passionate author. We're going to kick off this show with an exciting reading, so let's get started.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kari Warberg Block. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a lover of all life. I live in North Dakota, have a business that I founded called Earthkind. It's actually my 8th company, but this is the first company I've truly scaled and decided to make something significant with in the world. I'm excited to speak with you today and couldn't be more thrilled to be here. I'm going to read from chapter 8. This chapter is called Taking Flight, and I think it'll resonate with what's going on today with COVID and coming out of our cocoon. And it's much the story about my book and my life and the birth of Earthkind. So the chapter starts out, all human beings have the ability to transform like a caterpillar, emerging from its cocoon and taking to the sky, from Jim Rohn. I'm going to start on page 87, read about 2.5 pages. I have compassion, wisdom, and the will to make a difference in the world. Those were seeds that could be fertilized, and I had everything I needed right at my disposal. My compassion for the planet was born within me back when I was a 5-year-old little blonde-haired girl staring out at Kills Dump with my father. The away made my heart break. Now, I was 33, seeing the ugliness in the world again. Labels, poisons, greed, a metamorphosis of humankind's compassion towards the earth was needed. In my brokenness, I felt I was being called from within to become the entrepreneurial first responder that nature needed. I had to educate consumers to help change deep-seated behaviors. Once you know the problem you want to solve, you can begin work to create a better solution than what exists today. My soul craved the opportunity to do something about this need, this role. It was as if I could be that 5-year-old girl again, but wiser this time. As I slowly moved my body more like a caterpillar, gently extracting its wings from the cocoon, I thought about how I could best care for the earth, care for my spirit, and pay my bills. I had multiple entrepreneurial ventures up to now, but I had never married them into a fully congruent business model. Business has so much to learn from nature. I never understood how people thought that we're not all connected. My mind returned to the insects and bugs I saw as that 5-year-old girl. They did not belong in the home, but they did belong in places like the away. Insects are masters of reduce, reuse, recycle. I wanted to bring this wisdom of nature and life and one day in business organizations if it all worked out. Insects, mice, pests, they have purpose. They are part of our ecosystem's organizational hierarchy. Perhaps I could develop a way to control pests without killing them. Opportunity will knock. This is a phrase I kept hearing when I was on my back for a year after I died and came back. That's it! That's it! I yelled out, no one in particular. I could develop a humane pest control system and turn it into a profitable Earthkind business venture. It was never an industry I grew up wanting to tackle, but it would solve a problem without harming the balance of nature. No more mice in my tomato plants. Solving problems equals money, and I needed money. Heck, maybe the insect kingdom would hear about it and help me next time I die. Maybe they'd usher me into heaven rather than being decomposers of my rotting corpse. Like the bees we depend on for so many things, I made a resolution to become a pollinator myself. I would begin gathering and redistributing the wisdom I gained by helping people live and work in harmony with nature. I could become a decomposer, breaking down misconceptions about pests, disintegrating the illusion that killing and poisoning were the only way to keep pests away. I could share my 30 years of wisdom, educating people about how spiders eat little bugs you don't want in your home, and how ants provide termite and stink bug control for the outside perimeter of your home. Ask the universe for what you seek, and she will provide. These new ideas reverberated through my heart with boundless energy. I felt my purpose coming to life. I even began to appreciate the time I spent flat on my back that year, pondering life's big questions. Everything led me to where I needed to be. The loss had purpose. The injury had purpose. And now I felt like I had purpose. We are capable of anything we believe we are. Slowly, I became more mobile and could maneuver around the house. My cocoon split wide open as one wing, followed by another, emerged from containment. I saw light. I saw possibility. I had a whole new perspective about life, and I knew it was my life as well. As I leaned into this freedom, I earned more of it. The lady who owned the farmer's market lot in town lent me her old golf cart with some practice. I was able to use it to whip around the farm and do some work on the grounds. Where there is a will, there is a way. Total surrender gives you this gift of will. Once you've lost everything, you realize there is nothing to lose, and the reality you had before has died. It is replaced with the truth of a new realization calling for activation. It took almost losing my leg and life to realize I was put on this planet to serve and to lead. Everything I needed would be provided at the right time and place. I had a heart to serve, a body to serve, and a will to serve. I could lead and nurture the planet at the same time. Destiny never looked so clear and beautiful, but there was a lot of work to be done. For starters, I would have to learn more about the fundamentals of running a business. As soon as I was fully recovered, I planned on enrolling in business courses designed for women. Women are disregarded as business leaders simply due to preconceived patriarchal connotations from the past. Women can be farmers and make bouquets of flowers, but they could start and run a successful business, I thought. We know today that answer is a yes, but back in my day, it wasn't deemed plausible. There were so many other things to consider, including my delivery method, materials, the scientific formula I'd need to develop for the product, and the patents. Once perfected, I would need to apply for that patent. I had not felt this excited in a long time. I wasn't selling handmade beaded jewelry anymore. This had the potential to be huge, both in profit and in impact. Lift your spirit to a higher place. Open your heart to a kinder earth, and destiny will knock. I finally understood it. It was time to open my heart to a kinder earth. It was time to grow wings. I don't think people need to experience a life-altering event, such as a freak accident and a death, to reach this point like I did. First, all you have to do is figure out what deeply pains you in this world, what makes your heart hurt, what makes you shake your head in disgust and sadness. Know that it is in this dark place of pain and longing where you will find your will and receive anointing for this work. Your compassion leads you to that dark place. Your wisdom continues to build within you from the day you are born. You will emerge like a butterfly when all these elements align.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Minds of Authors. I have the talented and entrepreneur, Miss Kari, with us. Hello, madam. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. So happy to be here.
We are so happy to have you, and we're so excited you're joining the show. You're bringing something totally unique to us that I can't wait to share with our listeners. So let's jump in. Tell us about the book. Come on, give us some more because I have a lot of questions about it. So let's start.
Well, this is my first book called Gathering Around the Table, a story of purpose-driven change through business. I felt a real calling to write this book. After I became successful as an entrepreneur, I started speaking at universities around the country because this is like my 8th business. But this business I really took to a whole new level. We was employing people, actually started the business to change an industry, and that happened. I'd go around to these colleges and kids would ask me questions, and it was never about what type of a business plan did you use? Where did you get your capital? Any of this. They were asking me questions that were really around decision making. And I learned that most decisions made by people, they're not conscious decisions. They're not decisions made with their heart. They're not decisions made from a place of values. In other words, they're not asking themselves, what is my gift? What is my purpose? How do I contribute to the world? It isn't just about hanging a shingle and making a quick buck.
That is so powerful. And you have touched on so many things that is becoming the buzz in trend words. You're talking about what is your yes, what is your purpose, what is your passion. And we say them, but I don't think anybody actually rationalizes enough to be like, no, 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 stop. What is truly the things that you want? So you said 8 businesses. You started one, by the way. Changing an industry from within is huge. How did you went about it? Tell us.
The chapter that I read goes into what happened afterwards. It's when I started to grow those wings and get courage and really take flight. But just before that, I was on my back for about a year because I had an accident. I was selling organic produce at a farmer's market. A 72-year-old lady came in with a touring bike, boom, hit me, broke my femur. I flew, quite a few feet. The femoral artery burst. I didn't have any any of those moments. I was gone for 3 minutes. The doctor did. He saw an angel in the room protecting me because I shouldn't have lived with what I went through and the blood I lost. I laid there basically for a year on my back going, what am I here for? What is my purpose? There's got to be something. And, I was depressed, but it was like the second chance I'd gotten. I didn't want to waste this second chance. And I had nothing. I had no money. I didn't really know what to do. We were living in poverty. And so I'm like, there has to be something here. And I just kept asking myself, and I kept hearing this thing, this voice, lift your spirit to a higher place, open your heart to a kinder earth, and destiny will knock. At first I heard him like, what the hell was that? What in the world is that? What does that mean? Right?
I'm with you. It's like, yeah. Where's the interpreter? Like, where is that? Somebody translate it. Please, what does that mean? Oh my God, that is beautiful and perfect and confusing all at once.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's funny because that really perfectly aligns with when you discover what your purpose is. And I think a person's purpose changes throughout life. Now, mine was, I really had this love for nature. I always had this love for nature. And it was a hobby, and I'd go out and hiking and this and that. And I didn't want to kill things. And I was always worried about the planet and poison. And I didn't want to litter, much like people today. But I saw a need in the marketplace because we were farmers. We had problems with rodents getting into our equipment. And there was nothing you could do. They'd get in there, they'd chew on the wires. It would cost thousands of dollars. We couldn't afford it. You end up fighting, you end up crying, you end up drinking. You're going, I can't do this. The world is against us. And I put my thinking cap on and thought, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. I called all the companies. They told me, geez, lady, you're nuts. You're crazy. Nobody wants to keep pests out. They just want to kill them. In fact, they enjoy killing them. And I was like, I don't enjoy killing them. I don't enjoy the damage that's in our equipment. So I invented the first solution to get federal EPA registered that was botanical and plant-based. So our product is essentially, it's Earth Kind's called Fresh Cab. It keeps the mice out of your tractors and keeps them fresh for months. And it's basically made with ingredients grown on farms. And it's a scented sachet. It produces a scent that chases mice out. It's highly effective, and farmers across the nation just took to it. And we started selling it in John Deere. And pretty soon, I had like 4 women at my kitchen table helping me make stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, I think this is a business here. The purpose, actually, I think it kind of found me, but I really had to listen, and spending time on my back made me think it through. What was the next step and the next step that I needed to do?
I don't even know where I want to go with this because I have ideas busting from everywhere. You have done something that is besides remarkable, because congratulations on the business. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm with you. I don't want to kill anything. I just don't want them in my house. Just please stay away. But you have taken a concept, you have revolutionized an entire industry, you found your purpose and then you said, okay, how do I share this with the world and put it into a book? All these little things putting together, you're going, oh my God, I'm like completely having a fangirl moment because that's just beautiful. When did the idea for the book come together? Like, how long ago?
I started writing the book just before the pandemic started. I had this voice in me saying, we are going to come to an impasse. Everything we see needs to be recreated, it needs to be different. We're not believing in ourselves. People are lying to us. Companies are cheating us. And I thought, there's got to be a lot of young people out there like me that say, you know what? By God, I'm going to do something about this. And I thought, the best way to make my contribution was to write a book about how to make those conscious decisions, because the world tells you one thing and your heart tells you another. And then the scariest part is when you tell somebody and you tell the wrong person and they can't see your dream because you're a visionary. Nobody can see that dream. That dream gets implanted in us, right? So I wanted to be that mentor, that friend, that person that people could, tell me that story, or they read my book and that inner leader within them is born. And I'm so happy to say the book has only been out about, I think, a month and a half. It made the top 10 list on Amazon. And it wasn't our strategy to get, I didn't hire teams to say, hey, make it a bestseller. But we had a lot of momentum out there already because college professors are teaching my business case all around the world, because you literally can start with nothing, which I did. And by gathering around a table and finding the right people that understand your vision and want to help you, you really can make anything happen. So I thought that kids out there between the ages of 18 and 22 needed a book like this. I needed a book like this when I was 18.
Let's be honest, every age needs a book like this because regardless of where we're at in our life, sometimes we lose our way. Like, what do you do? How do you go back to the basics of who you are? So, you talked about it, and I want you to kind of explore more. Following your heart and following what society says and competing agendas. How do you bring those together?
Wow, that's a question that could probably be the next book, because there's really these two worlds, and you get these fleeting moments, and anybody listening can identify with this because we all have these ideas, right? And you get it, and say you wake up in the morning or you're in the shower or wherever it is that happens, that those are those conscious moments. And today they're probably 3% of our waking time, maybe. And decisions right now, are scientists and university professors say that's about 90% of all our decisions aren't made using values or tying them to what your heart would, have an open heart. So we've got a long ways to go, but that opening the heart really, really made a difference for me, because I kept hearing that voice and it took a long time to figure out what the heck it meant. Lift your spirit to a higher place. Open your heart to a kinder earth and destiny will knock. Well, for me, it knocked when I started opening my heart and not judging, of going, this is wrong or this is right, but instead looking at the pain that I saw. And from our case, it was, why do we have to keep using poisons and killing things? Why? It makes no sense. But there was no other options out there, nothing that was effective and that worked. And then other people say, well, there is nothing else. You have to kill them. That's how you have to do it. And then there was that little voice in me that says, why? Why does it have to be that way? And so it took me 8 years living in that, why? So I was like going back to that 5-year-old girl going, this doesn't make any sense. This is so stupid, to that 30-year-old in me that's going, well, I totally get it. I understand, this is the way it is. And, took one step in front of the other. And here we are. We're in 35,000 stores with our products. And we just got another really awesome big sale yesterday. So I'm in such a good mood, but it's really resonating with people because they're believing now. They've seen the results. They tell their friends. It's just a different philosophy about life and pest control than existed before.
You speak so much to my spirit that you just make me like want to smile nonstop because it's such a conscious move. You're talking from a purpose of awareness. You're speaking from a level of like, how do we all win? You know what I mean? And granted, nobody wants rodents in their house. Let's be honest. I'm terrified of them. I want you in your space and I'll stay in mine. Like, I won't visit your place. Don't visit mine. So for you to come up with something that is so earth awareness and focus, and for people to resonate, it kind of shows that as a society, we're in a different place as well. Everybody understands we don't have to kill it. Just don't come and hang out with us.
They do. And it's so funny because when I first started this, it was 15 years ago, probably. And I'd go into the retailers and visit these big retail chains, and they'd go, Earth kind. I don't know. Are you guys pot smokers? And they'd say stuff like this. And, it's funny now. Now they go, all these years later, they say, we finally get it. We see it. We see your vision. It's just wonderful. I had to learn a lot in those years, and I wish I would have learned it earlier. One of the things was I'd say to them, ask your kids, ask your wife what they think. And once I started doing that, these, white guys, 40, 50, 60-year-old, they'd call me back and they'd say, okay, I see what you mean now. You were right. And I'd say, okay, well, that is your customer. That is your future customer. So listen to them. You have to listen to them. You can't be listening to the old grandpa companies over here that told me that this isn't possible.
I love it. I love the fact that for your book, because I want to talk business and I want to talk book and I don't know which way to go. It's like, okay, DC, pick a side. We don't have to pick a side. There's no such thing as that. I love the fact that you bring in real principles to a business that was definitely focused on just eradicate the problem. You don't have to find another solution. We're there. Don't worry about it. And you're bringing the soul of humanity into it. That is amazing. How much resistance did you had?
I'm going to talk about the publisher for the book because it really plays into this question. So I took my manuscript out, and there was big publishers that said, oh my gosh, we're going to sell a lot of these. They loved it. They're like a successful woman entrepreneur. She can speak, she's got this public persona and this platforms. And I said, no. And I went to this tiny little publisher that was just starting called Conscious Capitalism Press. But really, it spoke to what I was doing here because it's something that I'm getting shivers talking about this. It has to resonate on every single level. So here I am, if I'm telling my story with a publisher that's known for exploitation and changing things to make more sales, right? And so here I am with this tiny, tiny little company. I found writers to help me because I was super busy, and their name is right on the front of the book. And I'm so proud to do that because people didn't do that before, put their ghostwriters and the people that help them. And I said, you know what, ladies, you deserve to be right there on the cover with me. And it meant so much to them, right? And the publisher told me this is my book as one of the top 5 books that he's ever read. And it was so amazing that it turns out to be from his company using some of his people. So that really helped the resistance because I knew I have other girlfriends that have built billion-dollar companies, and they go and they write their book and they do the big publisher, and things get changed and things get edited because, well, you can't really go here and go there. I wanted a book that was fully authentic because you can't fake that part when you're reading a book. If you're going to transform or open the leader within somebody, I had to be so cut open myself, right? And sharing in such an intimate way that they would feel that spirit. And I think that is the future in the two worlds you speak of, because I needed to give permission to the reader and to my employees and to the industry and to even the publishers. And I'm working in policy. I've been an advisor to the White House and Congress and SBA, and they all need permission to be fully authentic and real and able to speak their voice and say, no, Who says why? Push that why does it have to be that way button.
You have touched these buttons your entire career in this business. Like you have been, I want to say not controversial, but outside of the box thinker. So why not your book be an outside of the box thinking?
Exactly. And that's so much what I was thinking. I wouldn't be one of those people that could write how to get rich in 10 days. Do this and do this and do this. But I thought, if I die again, right? I thought about it. What do I want my contribution to be? And I thought if there was any way that I could, through my life, give people this opening, right, of the leader within themselves, that they fully have the ability to create the future they want, whether it's as an entrepreneur or as an employee in a company or even in a family. One person dares to stand up and do this, it has this cascading effect.
Miss Carrie, so love everything you're saying because you're speaking to the heart of our consciousness. You're talking to a society that wants change. You're talking to a culture, and I don't think it's even a generational thing because it doesn't matter the age. It is finally resonating. For the last year, we have been still, and there's this tension. There is this thing growing in everybody's, spirit that says we need change. And you're living proof that, oh my God, you have a dream and you can make this dream come true. Granted, it is not 10 steps to get rich. So you said it. Took you 8 years to get here. So people, listeners, let's be honest about this. This is not a get quick scheme. This is follow that heart and your passion just comes across. I'm excited.
Following the heart it can be a pretty scary thing if it's new for somebody. Even myself, I push the envelope. I really push the envelope on myself. Like writing this book, you never know how things are going to turn out because it's not conventional. But one of my girlfriends, she came on our book launch, which I did a virtual one because you can't really go out in this COVID world. And she was co-founder of the first book company to get to $1 billion in sales, Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'm terrified, right? Patty, would you read my book and tell me what you think? She's written all these hundreds of bestsellers, and she read it and she said, honestly, Kari, this was so, so good. This is the future. This is the future of books where people can transform themselves. It's magical when you write a book. It was magical for me, right? For sure, writing this book, but it should be to the reader as well.
If you can take your readers in an authentic journey and you have opened your soul, like those pages you read, I was like, wait, I thought this was something else. That's not what I was expecting. But is that authentic journey you brought us into and the passion that you have and the fact that it's not a story, you're telling us your life and it can happen. It changes people. And the fact that you're so down to earth, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
It's even today when I go into meetings and I'll bring people with me and I'm quiet. I'm not like you wouldn't in a red suit, like the power suit. That is just like so not me. And the secretaries and the door people and stuff, they treat me like the worker bee, right? And my sales rep, and that we have so much fun because they'll go, he's the boss.
That's when you realize that people have a perception in everything. But you are a great example of, most people say they're going to treat whoever can do something for them better. The fact that you are able to treat everybody the same says so much about who your character and your company has. So, and this book is exciting for people to have a true vision of what a leader in a business in a extremely male dominated world, very all world based, can change it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's getting to be quite a group of women out there. I'm part of a group of, there's about 100 of us, and we're all like second stage entrepreneurs, meaning we've had successful businesses and, growing them and changed industries. And we're all committed to helping other women and helping entrepreneurs. And it's something, there needs to be more female role models that show people what's possible when you look at it, because the little girls like me, what I saw, it just didn't seem possible. and the little girls today. Now it's wonderful because there's more role models and they're all different shapes and sizes and colors and ethnicities and backgrounds. And there's so much possibility now, but there still needs to be more. We've still got so far to go.
At least the doors are opening and people are excited to see what happens. Because for the longest time, you said it. You couldn't find somebody that sounded or looked or resembled not just the person, but the dream. And everybody said, you just can't do that and put everybody in a box. So it is beautiful, your message. It is beautiful what you have going. By the way, the fact that you have your ghostwriter's names on the cover just touched my soul. That is amazing.
Thank you.
Miss Kari, I could talk to you forever, and I know you have millions of stuff because you have a company to run. Tell us, what advice would you give an up and coming writer or an up and coming business person who says, I have a dream? What do they start?
Start in the heart.
I love it. So tell us, madam, where can our listeners find the book and where can they get more information about you and your company? What is your site? Where do we get this?
So the first place to start would be KariWarbergBlock.com. And you can find my book on there under a tab. And there's several links so you can get it from Amazon, Apple, Kindle. Our company is www.earthkind.com. And you can find our products. And we have an incredible library with 14 years of articles on all kinds of things of how to control pests and prevent them and seasonal tips and advice and great information there. It does not cost a thing. And our products can be found across the country at Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, Target, John Deere, auto supply stores, pretty much all over, and Amazon.
Madam, I love it. I am so excited about this. Before you leave us, we're going to jump into our lightning round. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Let's see how you do. I am super excited because it's so much fun. It has been so exciting to talk to you. So, number 1, apple cider or hot chocolate?
Hard chocolate.
Nice. Let's see how we go with this. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
You didn't have to think about it. You're like, oh, this is easy. If you could play any character in any film, who would you play?
James Bond.
Thank you. I am so excited. So here is our last one, and this might be a little tricky. Let's see how you do. If you could pick any other career to do in your life, what would it be?
Teacher.
Why?
Impact and influence.
I love it. Absolutely beautiful. Madam, it has been a pleasure and an honor to have you on this show with us. Do you have any closing remarks for us?
Lift your spirit to a higher place. Open your heart to a kinder earth. A destiny will knock.
Oh, destiny is definitely going to be knocking to everybody. And if everybody listening, I absolutely hope pick up the book, check out both websites, be inspired as much as I am because I am bouncing with joy. Miss Kari, a pleasure. And everybody, will see you back next week with another exciting author. Bye.
Thank you, DC. Bye-bye.